Hello and welcome to this video. This is not going to be a brewing video simply because I've had things come up health-wise, both for me and my wife, that limit the amount of time I have to dedicate to brewing. So I figured I would do a kind of a cooking video, a bread video. It involves yeast, so it's close enough. We'll call it good. What we're going to do is make naan, or as in the area I live in Texas, they call it naan bread, which is kind of redundant. If I remember the history and the name of naan, they calling it naan bread is pretty redundant. What I'm going to do is we'll go ahead and get my counter set up, get my camera readjusted. Then we'll start the process of making naan. So give me a sec and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. What we have here is I've got a half cup or about 100 milliliters of water. What we're going to do is we're going to add 1 package of baking yeast to it. Well, maybe if I can get it cut open. Something to remember, we are not brewing, we are cooking. So I need clean, I don't necessarily need sterile. So we'll put our yeast in. And I'm going to be putting 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is a half teaspoon, so we'll be putting 2 halves to make a whole. Then what we're going to do, set this to the side. So far we've got 1 packet of yeast, half cup of water, 1 teaspoon of sugar. We're going to take a whisk. We're going to whisk it in there, get everything mixed up. And we got to wait till the yeast wakes up and becomes happy yeast. It starts to get all frothy and yeasty on the here. But to kill time until we're doing that, we are going to be needing a half teaspoon of salt. You can use table salt. You can use whatever salt blows your hair back. I am using cherry smoked salt just because I have it. It's fancy. It tastes good. I like the taste. But you can use just regular old table salt if that's what you have. What I have to do with this, though, is I have to grind it. I got a mortar and pestle. Measure out 1 or a half of a teaspoon. Then move this out of the way. I'm going to grind my salt as fine as I can get it. We will be adding this to our flour, our initial flour when we start mixing flour. We start mixing our dry ingredients. All right. So yeah, we got it pretty good. We got a pretty good powder. We'll set that to the side till we need it. Once our yeast, bring it back on camera. Once our yeast gets all frothy and yeasty and happy, we are going to put a 1/4 cup of oil in it and a 1/3 cup of plain yogurt in it. The oil, you can use any kind of oil that you want. You use vegetable, canola oil, olive oil, whatever oil blows your hair back. I choose, because I like the taste, is the rice bran oil. I like the taste. It's not a health thing or a this is better than that thing. It's I like the taste thing. So when you go to mix your oil in, that's what you do. You use the oil that you like the taste of. Um, our yeast is starting to get a little bit frothy. Let it go a little bit. Then we'll get our whisk and start whisking stuff in. Um, yeah. Well, seeing as how we're waiting and got to kill time, uh, we'll go ahead and initially what we're going to start with. Let me readjust the camera so I'm like looking at you. What we're going to do is I'm going to start with 1 cup of bread flour. I prefer bread flour. You can use general purpose flour. You can use self-rising flour, whatever blows your hair back. I prefer the taste of bread flour, but that's me. Like I said, you can use whatever flour blows your hair back. I tend to sift my flour. The recipe that I'm going by doesn't specifically call for it to be sifted, but my initial 1 cup of flour, I'm going to go ahead and sift it. Then we're going to add our salt, and then we're going to add it to our wet mixture. Then we're going to add some more flour. Then we're going to pull it out. We're going to knead our dough. So it looks like, bring the camera back down. Looks like we're getting frothy. So we'll go ahead. We'll dump in our yogurt first. I love these little bowls. They have they have the measurements on the inside of the bowl, which are nice. Go ahead and put that in. Let's go ahead and mix in our oil. Put that to the side. We're going to set this off to the side. Correct. I'm going to set it over here. Now I'm going to bring some my bowl. This is 1 cup of flour. This is my mixing bowl. I put my 1 cup of flour in. Go ahead and put my salt in. I'm going to run and grab a spoon. I forgot to grab me a mixing spoon, so I will run and grab that real quick. 1 mixing spoon. So now we get back to our yeast and oil and yogurt mixture. Put it in here. So. And we'll mix it in our bowl. Okay. Now we're going to add a 1/2 cup more flour. And mix it pretty good. we're going to add our final bit of flour. And we're also going to add 1 egg. And this is just all yard egg. Matter of fact, our chickens lay it. Go ahead and crack that. Put this in. And we'll go ahead and get it all mixed in. It says you mix it, you can't mix it with a spoon anymore. Which I'm at that point. Now we are going to take and mix everything by hand. We want to get this in here. We want to get a nice smooth consistency. Okay, we're getting a good dough ball. And what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to reset my counter. I'm going to put out a cutting board to finish kneading this. Well, actually, I'll probably do that off camera. Once you get a nice dough ball, good cohesive dough ball, you take it and you got to knead it for 3 to 5 minutes, which is something you probably don't want to watch. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is turn off the camera and get that kneading done. Okay, we are back now. We went ahead and we kneaded this for 4 minutes. What we're going to do now is first thing we're going to do is take our oil. And the recipe says moisturize the dough with a thin layer of oil, which basically means you just take it and wipe it down like this. And once again, I am using the rice brand oil. We're going to take it and we're going to put it in our jar, in our bowl, and we're going to wait 2 hours for it to rise. After 2 hours, we'll come down, we'll punch it down, we'll divide it up, we'll press it, and we'll cook our naan. So, see you in a little bit. Hello, and we're back. It is time for us to proceed on with our naan. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look, and it has risen. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this out on the cutting board, and we're going to punch it down, and we're going to take and get a cutter, which I forgot. And I have to go get real quick, but I will be back. Okay, I am back. What we're going to do is with this, we are going to cut a segment of the dough. I'm going to make a ball out of it. Then we're going to press it. What I am going to use to press back here is this is a tortilla press. Just a simple tortilla press. And all we're going to do with our tortilla press is you don't have to use a tortilla press. You can use 2 fairly solid objects two cutting boards, a rolling pin, a cutting board, whatever. I use a tortilla press because A, it's heavy and I'm lazy, and B, pretty much every good Texan has a tortilla press. It's just part of being in Texas. I'm going to take cooking parchment. I'm going to put it on here. We're going to take our ball. I'm going to put it on our press. I'm going to take another piece of our cooking parchment, put over top. That's so it doesn't stick to the press. What we're going to do is go ahead and press it. And we got it pretty flat. And what we have is a pressed out piece of dough waiting to be fried. So I'm going to go ahead and make all my patties to be fried, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then we'll cook a few of them and see how they come out. So see you in a little bit. Okay, we have our Naan blanks ready to go. If you notice, I left the parchment to separate them so they don't stick to each other. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to turn the stove on. Let it warm up. It shouldn't take too long. Something I did do off screen, because it's not something you have to do. It's something I just like the flavor of it. I took some just regular old red pepper. Maybe you can't see, maybe you can, I don't know. Red pepper flakes, crushed red pepper, and some garlic. And basically ground them together and put them in some oil. And heated the oil up to pull the flavor in the oil. What I'm going to do as I cook my naan, I'm going to baste it that way. Just baste it and flip it. As I flip it, just baste it, flip it, baste it, flip it, just to get the garlic pepper flavor in it. Like I said, it's something you don't have to do. It's something I enjoy the flavor of. So, turned on the wrong burner. Got me a Naan flipping utensil. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit of heat. I'll bring my oil over. Take this and set this here. We're going to peel off our naan. The recipe that I have calls for you to use high heat. I tend to use medium heat and cook it a little bit slower, a little bit longer, so I can take my time when I'm basting just to take and baste it. You're going to want to basically cook it until it's a nice brown color. Depending on exactly what, how much you want or how cooked you want it, depends on how brown or golden you let it get. I usually let it when it starts to bubble through is when I usually call it good. So I'll go ahead and flip it. and baste. See, that's another thing. As much as I'm going to flip and baste at a lower heat, it doesn't cook as fast, and it allows for more absorption of the oil, of the flavored oil. I would turn on my oven light, but it's glaring on the camera real bad for some reason, so it still has a little bit of the oil on it, so we'll let it go. So basically, at this point, what I'm going to do is go ahead and cook a few of these and have a taste test, and we'll call it a video. So see you in a little bit. Okay, we have finished cooking our naan bread. In total, we got 15 pieces, ranging from about this size to about this size at the end of the thing. Really good. Garlic come through, a little bit of the red pepper. It's nice. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's nice and fluffy, light, just like naan bread should be. I will put a recipe that I base my naan recipe on in the description. Like I said, you watch the video, you read the recipe, and you watch the video, you'll see where I diverged from the recipe. But it's a good starter recipe. The first couple times I did this, cook these, I followed the recipe, word for word. Then as I got comfortable with the recipe, I changed it up, added things, subtracted things, changed from olive oil to the rice bean oil and what have you. So this is basically how I make naan. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, love, peace, and better brewing.